This doesn't do what you think it does. And once you understand why, you won't look at it the same again. Once consumed, caffeine enters your bloodstream. Within minutes, it reaches your brain. There, it blocks a chemical called adenosine. Adenosine is what tells your brain that it's tired. So, caffeine doesn't actually give you energy. It hides exhaustion. Neurons fire faster. Heart rate increases. Your mind feels sharper. About 20 to 30 minutes in, the peak arrives. Focus improves. Motivation rises. Everything feels more manageable. It's not euphoria. It's confidence in a cup. But as caffeine breaks down, adenosine rushes back. That clarity fades. Irritability sets in. Jitters appear. And the thought creeps in, maybe one more coffee will fix this. Caffeine is mildly addictive, but it hides behind routine. Over time, your brain adapts. Natural alertness decreases. Quit suddenly, and you'll feel it. Headaches, fatigue, brain fog. We joke about needing coffee to survive. But that's withdrawal disguised as culture. Caffeine doesn't wake you up. It delays your tiredness. Nicotine is a fast-acting stimulant. It's found in cigarettes and vapes, and it's the chemical that hooks people. When inhaled, nicotine reaches the brain in seconds. It triggers a surge of dopamine, the chemical tied to calm, focus, and reward. At first, it feels perfect. Stress melts away. Thoughts sharpen. The world feels smoother. That's the onset. A short, clean high. But nicotine fades quickly. As dopamine drops, tension rises. Restlessness appears. Cravings return. Each hit doesn't create calm. It relieves the discomfort caused by the last one. That's the trap. Nicotine doesn't relax you. It resets withdrawal. Over time, your brain rewires itself. Without nicotine, everything feels dull. Physically, it damages lungs, blood vessels, and the heart. Mentally, it convinces you that you can't cope without it. Alcohol is a depressant. It slows the brain and nervous system. It's everywhere. Parties, celebrations, moments of stress. Once alcohol enters the bloodstream, communication inside the brain begins to break down. At first, it feels good. Warmth spreads. Anxiety fades. Confidence rises. You feel open, social, relaxed. Then comes the peak. Judgment weakens. Emotions intensify. Coordination slips. The brain slows down, but convinces you that everything is fine. That's the illusion. Eventually, the come down arrives. Energy drains. The buzz turns heavy. Thoughts blur. Later comes dehydration, nausea, brain fog. Alcohol is addictive in quiet ways. The brain begins to expect it. Not for fun, but to feel normal. Over time, it damages organs and slowly erodes self-control. It makes you feel alive, while dulling what makes you human. Ever wondered what happens in your brain when you use cannabis? It's all about THC, the main player in this psychoactive plant. THC mingles with your brain's endocannabinoid system, the regulator of mood, memory, and perception. As THC enters, it takes over the natural calming chemicals. That's when the magic begins. Time feels like it's stretching. Your senses intensify, and suddenly everything seems softer, more profound. It's a whole new dimension of experience. But remember, while it might be enlightening, it's crucial to use responsibly. Cannabis isn't just a plant. It's a gateway to a different state of mind. At the peak, creativity soars. Music feels deeper. Colors more vivid. Thoughts profound. Reality bends. But as the high fades, thinking slows. Speech drifts. Fatigue seeps in. For some, it's a gentle descent. For others, it lingers long. Cannabis, mildly addictive, mostly psychological. Regular use? It can dull motivation, disrupt memory, reshape how the brain rewards relaxation. Often labeled as harmless, yet it quietly alters the mind. It's a subtle transformation, unnoticed by many, but the impact is real. The allure is strong, but the cost? It may be greater than it seems. Think twice. What path will you choose? At the peak, creativity blooms. Everything feels deeper. Music, colors, thoughts. Reality sways. But as the high fades, your mind slows, speech drifts, fatigue creeps in. For some, it's a gentle descent. For others, it clings like a shadow. Cannabis, mildly addictive, mostly psychological. Regular use can sap motivation, disrupt memory, and alter how your brain seeks relaxation. It's often dubbed harmless, yet it subtly rewires your brain. It lures you with the promise of creativity, but beware its quiet touch. It changes you, reshaping your world in whispers. At the peak, creativity may rise, or anxiety may appear. Cocaine is a powerful stimulant. Once inside the body, it floods the brain with dopamine, blocking its removal. The onset is instant. Energy surges. Confidence explodes. Thoughts race. At the peak, everything feels perfect, but the brain burns through dopamine fast. Within minutes, levels crash. Anxiety rises. Mood drops. Exhaustion hits. The craving begins. Cocaine is highly addictive. Each use rewires the brain to chase control and pleasure. But that control is an illusion. Over time, joy without it feels unreachable. MDMA floods the brain with serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin, the chemicals of happiness and connection. Warmth spreads. Music feels alive. Touch becomes electric. At the peak, empathy explodes. Everything feels perfect, connected, infinite. But serotonin is burned fast. The come down brings emptiness, sadness, fatigue. Repeated use damages the brain's ability to feel happiness naturally. The connection felt was chemical, not permanent. LSD rewires perception. Reality appears to move. Colors breathe. Time dissolves. At the peak, the sense of self fades. Thoughts and sensations merge. The come down is slow. Reality rebuilds piece by piece. LSD isn't physically addictive, but it's unpredictable. It opens the mind and doesn't always close it gently. Ketamine disconnects awareness. The world feels distant, detached, dreamlike. At the peak, perception separates from the body. The come down brings calm, but also fog. Heavy use damages memory and emotion, disconnects pain, sometimes meaning. Opioids flood the brain with comfort. Pain fades, stress disappears. At the peak, everything slows. But then, withdrawal. Anxiety, pain, desperation. The brain learns. Drug equals survival, and everything else fades. Methamphetamine, though, is a different beast. Meth supercharges the brain. Energy explodes. Sleep vanishes. Thoughts race. At the peak, confidence turns obsessive. Then comes the crash. The mind frantically searches for that elusive high, grasping at memories once bright, now dim. Opioids and meth, two paths, one destination, a battle between euphoria and despair. Depression, paranoia, emptiness. Meth steals pleasure from the future. It promises highs, but leaves you low. Psilocybin, though, alters perception. Patterns shimmer. Thought dissolves. At the peak, connections feel profound. But the come down brings reflection. It doesn't show something new. It reveals what was already there. Benzodiazepines come next. Benzos slow the brain. Anxiety fades. Muscles relax. Thoughts quiet. Yet, with repeated use, the brain forgets how to stay calm alone. Withdrawal can be severe. They quiet the mind, and silence can be addictive. The mind searches for peace, but at what cost? None of these substances make you weak. They work because they touch real parts of the human brain, parts that want relief, focus, connection, peace. Understanding that doesn't judge you. It gives you power. When you know what something actually does, you stop letting it decide for you. This channel isn't about telling you what to use or avoid. It's about seeing clearly, and clarity changes everything. If this helped you understand yourself even a little more, you're already ahead. Stay curious. Stay aware. I'll see you in the next one.